AIDS. I just got back from the hospital.
But you're not...
3 years ago, when I was 16, we had a car accident. My right leg was broken and I lost some blood. I received a blood transfusion at the local hospital. They told me the donor died unexpectedly 2 years later. He was then diagnosed. Do you want to come visit this weekend?
Are you sure your parents would care for a visitor?
Of course. They really want to meet you. I really want to see you.
Okay. I will. Mary, Paul's mother. She has an MA in anthropology and was a highly ranked amateur tennis player. Now she works part-time for a human rights organization. A smart, energetic woman. Jennifer, Paul's sister, a graduate of sociology at the University of Toronto. In the middle of all of it is Paul. At a funeral where the family members are stricken with pain and grief, Paul is the funeral director, going about with professional sympathy, calm and dull. Paul knows something awful is happening to him, but he can't grasp it. Death is beyond him. He speaks of his condition as if it is news from a foreign country.
I'm going to die.
There was a ferry disaster in Bangladesh. I only meant to be there a few days, but I ended up staying. Paul spent months in the hospital. If he was strong enough, we would go for a walk, see a movie or a play or something, but mostly we just sat around, which was fine. But I started to feel that we should be doing something productive with that time. Now, I don't mean put on togas and ruminate philosophically about life, death, God, universe, meaning of it all. What I meant was I feel that we should be doing something constructive. Something that could make something out of nothing, sense out of nonsense, something that would go beyond just talking about life, death, God, the universe, and meaning of it all, and actually being those things. I gave it a good thinking. And then one day it came to me. Roccamatios de camera. Roccamatios de camera.
I don't know what you're talking
An
about.
isolated villa outside of Florence. The rest of the world dying of the Black Death. 10 people gathered around, hoping to survive, telling each other stories to pass the time. The transformative wizardry of the imagination. Boccaccio did it in the 14th century. We can do it in the 20th. We'll tell each other stories.
Except, I'm sick this time.
But we aren't running from it. We're remembering the world, recreating it, embracing it, destroying the void. We use the history of the 20th century. It'll be our mold. We use one event from each year as a metaphorical guideline.
I don't get it. Metaphorical guideline? And when does the story take place?
Well, now, the family that the story we're telling exists now. It's just every event will act as a parallel, something to guide us in helping tell our story. Like Joyce's Ulysses was a parallel, was a metaphorical transformation of the Odyssey.
Why don't we just read the book aloud since I've never read it?
Because we don't want to be spectators, Paul.
Oh.
First thing we need to do is decide where the family lives. Well, come on, Paul, it's not that hard, just pick a place. No, I'm sorry, I didn't, I'm sorry, that's a great idea. We can just read Ulysses loud, and then, why not? War and Peace. I'll leave you to rest. I'm sorry, I'll call you later.
Helsinki!
Helsinki.
Capital of Finland.
You been?
No.
Okay. Helsinki, Finland. And the name of the family?
Roccamatios. Roccamatios.
I don't know. That's very realistic. I mean, shouldn't it be something more Nordic sounding, like...
No. The Roccamatios. The Roccamatios were a Finnish Finnish family of Italian extraction, the Helsinki Roccamatios.
The Helsinki Roccamatios.
We tell their story.
That's right. We tell their story. It takes place now, about mid-1980s. Each event that we use will act as a parallel. Each episode will be related in one sitting and will reflect that event. We can switch off, so I'll take the odd years and you'll take the lead on the even years, okay? All right. More on this family and this city, Helsinki. What do you know about it?
Other than the fact that it's the capital of Finland, nothing.
Okay, we can just make it up. What's the population?
1 million. Helsinki is the capital of Finland in every way. Political, industrial, commercial, cultural, etc.
Of course, it's a very important port. They speak, Finnish.
Not all of them. Some speak Swedish. A small but fractious group of Helsinki inhabitants speak Swedish.
Perfect. Great details. Any interesting foreign affairs?
Finland and Russia have a long and complicated history, as you know.
Oh, of course. Russia weighs heavily on the mood of the nation. Anything else?
The Helsinki Roccamatios remain a secret, just between the two of us.
Feel it. Now, understand that you're not going to be hearing the story of the Helsinki Roccamatios. Certain intimacies shouldn't be made public. They should be known to exist. That's all. The story of the Helsinki Roccamatios was often whispered, and it was not whispered to you. Of those AIDS years, all I have kept is the following record. After a reign of 64 years, Queen Victoria dies. In its own blinkered and delusional way, the Victorian age has been the happiest of all. Utopia seems at hand. Sandro Roccamatio has died. Beloved by all, he was the patriarch of his family.
1902. Under the forceful leadership of Clifford Stigton, the settlement of Canada's West is in full swing. The 20th century belongs to Canada.
1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright fly at Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Their powered machine, Flyer 1, now popularly called Kitty Hawk, stays in the air for 12 seconds on its first flight and 59 seconds on its fourth and last.
As a direct result of the Dreyfus affair, Prime Minister Émile Combes of France introduces a bill for the complete separation of church and state.
1905, Albert Einstein publishes a paper. The special theory of relativity is born. There is energy everywhere. E equals mc squared, as Einstein puts it.
1906. Tommy Burns defeats Marvin Hart to become the first and only Canadian to win the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship.